Welcome to another South in preview, and of course I'm joined again as normal by the legend that is Mr. Steve Whitney, media manager for the Southern League. And Steve, well, this is it, mate, isn't it? I mean, the end of another pitching in Southern League season is upon us, and it's been fantastic how it's been able to actually play a full campaign this year after 2 awful years of COVID. And we've had an exciting week with some teams being promoted, some teams unfortunately being relegated, but we're in for a fantastic week. Well, Saturday, but of course the issue is still going to be who's going to play each other in the playoffs and who's not going to play each other in relegation playoffs, because I don't think even the FA know who's going to be in those relegation places. And
no. The last day of the season still has, remarkably, still has plenty of issues to settle, and there'll be a good deal of Twitter checking of results on Saturday afternoon, I think. But first, in the Premier Division Central, we had a crucial game on Thursday evening as the rearranged game between Tamworth and Biggleswade Town took place at the CRMOT Centre Community Stadium. Used to be better known as the Lamb, of course. The original game was abandoned on December 11th, and the league have ruled that it had to be replayed. The Lambs had a 12-game unbeaten run to maintain, so certainly wouldn't be taking the game lightly. And they've done remarkably well since Andy Peakes took over as manager when they were in the relegation zone. And they certainly didn't take their foot off the gas on Thursday, as their 3-1 win relegated the Waders. Tamworth could now finish as high as 9th if they better Hensford Town's result at Barwell on Saturday. The Canaries still looking to ensure they don't end up in that third from bottom spot, which, again, like you said, we don't know yet what that position is going to hold. And Guy Hadland's Barwell side have a 2-point advantage over the current pitch in town, with Nuneaton Borough and to a lesser extent Bromsgrove Sporting also in the mix. The Hertfordshire Canaries welcome Sport into Topfield on the final day, and the Rouslers have the worst goal difference of the teams in the frame. There's sure to be a decent crowd at Hayden Road as AFC Russian and Diamonds look to get at least a point against Nuneaton to keep Alvechurch from pinching that final playoff spot. Diamonds are 5 goals better off than the Lye Meadow outfit, so it would need a big win for Ian Long's side at home to Royston Town for them to claim 5th spot. A Diamonds win and defeat for Russell Olympic at home to already relegated Lowestoft Town could see the Northamptonshire side finish 4th. Who either Diamonds or the Picks take on in the playoffs is still uncertain going into the final day, as Peterborough Sports and Colville Town are level on 78 points, with the Turbines possessing the better goal difference. But Jimmy Dean's side face a tricky trip to the Suffolk coast to play Leiston, and Colville have another awkward away game at the War Memorial Athletic Ground against mid-table Stourbridge.
And of course, Leiston or whichever you want to say, of course, they're going to try and bounce back as well from their Suffolk Cup final defeat against Needham Market this week as well. So they'll be looking to bounce back quite quickly from that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Champions Banbury United play their final Step 3 game at Bloomfields against Needham Market, whilst the disappointed Biggleswade group host Redditch United and Tamworth round off their campaign with a home match against St Ives Town.
Of course, we're what a thrilling finale it should be, and of course we're heading into the Division South. I mean that league as well is very, very well. You could throw a cloth over everybody, I think, to find out where they're going to finish in that one.
Well, realistically, the title race is between current leaders Taunton Town and second placed Hayes and Yedding United, who, although they trail the Peacocks by 3 points, possess a much better goal difference. Third place Farnborough have the same points as Paul Hughes' side, but are 31 goals worse off, effectively a further point or so behind, really. But Borough could certainly do Hayes and Yedding a favour as they head west to the Signet Healthcare Stadium to take on Taunton, where there's sure to be a big crowd. Hughes' Hayes and Yedding's side make the journey to Farnborough's Hampshire neighbours Hartley Whitney, who lost the derby on Easter Monday to Spencer Day's side, but had made themselves safe from the drop with a 4-1 home win against Truro City 48 hours earlier. Metropolitan Police are already assured of fourth spot as they head to Poole Town, looking to maintain form running into the playoffs, following a 4-1 success against Beaconsfield Town on Monday. The identity of the final playoff spot, though, goes right to the wire, with Weston-super-Mare currently occupying fifth spot after a 4-0 win at Bolitho Park against Truro City on Easter Monday. That ousted Cheshire United from the top 5 as the Generals were beaten 2-0 at Hayes and Yedding on the same day. A single point separates the sides, and both have home games on Saturday, with the Seagulls welcoming mid-table Harrow Borough to the Optima Stadium and Chesham hosting already relegated Wimborne Town. Yate Town, although mathematically not out of the equation, are 11 goals worse off than Weston and 6 of Chesham as it stands, as the Bluebells face Gosport Borough at the Southwest Interiors Stadium. The remaining games in the division sees Merthyr Town finally condemned to relegation over Easter, travel to Hindon, while the likes of Dorchester Town can play a little more relaxed football at Walton Casuals now that they're safe. Kings Langley cannot get out of that third from bottom spot, but could get a reprieve on points per game. But not being a very good mathematician myself, I cannot explain that one too much further, to be honest. And they're Raymack against Salisbury on Saturday. Beaconsfield Town against Truro and Swindon Supermarine against Tiverton are the two of the final day matches.
And of course, the division I know quite a bit about. Of course, we're going into the Division 1 Central. Of course, Bedford now sort of promoted champions in that league as well. But it's still going to be interesting to see who finishes where in those playoff spots underneath, because, of course, also with the news of Welwyn Garden City and ground grading, etc., it's all up in the air a little bit. But there's sort of 5 teams fighting for 4 places. So it's going to be interesting to see where they finish as well, to see who gets the home ties and who gets the away ties in that semi-finals.
Yeah, title winners Bedford Town, they finished their away fixtures with the replay game at Kidlington on Thursday night, which had been abandoned in February. It finished 1-1, and now the Eagles can look forward to a big crowd at the Erie tomorrow when they host Aylesbury United, where they'll be presented with the championship trophy after the game. Eager to join Bedford in playing Steps 3 football next season are Berkhamsted, already assured of the runners-up spot as they welcome the young St Neots Town side to Broadwater. But who Berko will be playing in the playoffs is far from clear, as you say. Where are currently third, a point ahead of AFC Dunstable, and 3 of a North Lee side who have a superior goal difference. Paul House's Ware side travelled to the Luke Meadows Stadium to play a Didcot Town outfit who have been inconsistent this season, so it's difficult to know which Railwayman side will turn up. AFC Dunstable also have a tricky final afternoon at Hertford Town, who have a decent home record this season, despite their lowly position in the table. Northley are also on their travels on the final day as they head to already relegated Colney Heath, who no doubt will want to bow out on a high. Welwyn Garden City, as you say, look to have been thwarted due to ground grading issues. So although they go into the final day level on points with North Lee, their trip to Yarnton Road to play Kidlington looks irrelevant in terms of the playoffs. But there will be a decision on that one later on Friday, I understand. As for the remaining games, it's all about final placings and bowing out on a high as Barton Rovers welcome Biggleswade FC, who have enjoyed a terrific season, to be fair, and could finish as high as 8th. FC Romania have bottom markers Wantage Town visiting Theobald's Lane. Tame United have 7th placed Harlow Town coming to town, while Waltham Abbey travel to Hillgrounds to play 3rd from bottom Kempston Rovers, who will be reprieved if Welwyn Garden City's appeal is denied.
So the interesting one, I suppose, there will be, if Welwyn Garden City's, of course, appeal doesn't go in their favour, what position in the table do they go? Do they go into the bottom place position in the table, or do they go in the playoff place? Where that'd be interesting to see where the FA actually put them. I'm assuming it would be in the bottom place, but I don't know for sure, because who knows what's going to happen with that. But that'll be an interesting thing to see who then, if that means Colney Heath then going to the playoff position, or Colney Heath don't go into the playoff position, etc., etc. There's a lot to pan itself out, I think, by the end of the time this actually goes into people to see this. So we might know more by tomorrow morning.
From what I understand, Dave, you're right. From what I hear, it would be Welwyn Garden, if their appeal is denied, Welwyn Garden City would finish bottom and Colney Heath would finish in that third bottom playoff spot.
So, I mean, the scenario is simple in the Division 1 South on the final day?
Yeah, if Plymouth Parkway avoid defeat at Bullingford Park against third from bottom Cinderford Town, then Lee Hobbs is side of champions. Effectively, with Parkway holding an 8-goal advantage on second place Frome Town, a defeat could also see them lift the title, but I'm sure they would rather win. Mm-hmm. And in fact, that's probably, if I was given a choice of where to go tomorrow, that would a nice one. Well, it's a long way from where I live, but it would be a nice place because the atmosphere, I think, would be great there tomorrow. However, Danny Greaves' Frome men travel to Lymington Town, who possess the third worst defensive record in the division, so don't count your chickens quite yet. Cirencester Town will be keen to finish as runners-up as they head to 9th place Polton Rovers, although they're at least certain of a home tie in the playoffs. Winchester City are assured a 4th spot, but they will have a say in who joins them in the playoffs as they'll make the long journey to the Creek to take on a Bristol Manor Farm outfit who are 5th, but have a worse goal difference than 6th placed AFC Tottenham, who are 3 points behind. So it could be an interesting one, that one. The Stags are away to Slimbridge side, who seem to have headed to the beach a few weeks early, having won only once in their last 8 games, and were beaten by already relegated Mangotsfield United on Easter Monday. So Jimmy Ball's side will be looking for a big favour from their Hampshire rivals, Winchester, if, of course, they can win at Slimbridge. The remaining final day fixtures are for pride and final places only, as the 2 relegated teams, Mangotsfield and Barnstaple Town, finished with away games at Bideford AFC and Shirling respectively. Evesham United finish up with a home match with Larkhall Athletic, and Highworth Town welcome Willand Rovers to the Save On Tyres Stadium.
What a great one to finish with, eh? The Save On Tyres Stadium. But I mean, in all fairness, Steve, it's going to be an exciting weekend to see who finishes what and where. You know, there's a few bits and bobs to deal with champions, relegation and playoffs, relegation playoffs and promotion playoffs. But it's going to be a really good weekend for everybody. But as me and Steve say every single week, we all hope that everybody gets the points they want in the last game of the season. And don't forget, get yourselves out there. This might be the last time you get to see your team until, July, August time. Next later on this year. So make sure you get yourselves out to see your team this weekend and show your support for your team and all your players as well for the efforts they've put in during the season, whether it's been a fantastic season, if it's been a poor season, whatever, they've still put that effort in there. Get out there, put your arms around those players and say thank you this weekend to all those players that have been played in the Southern League this year. Me and Steve will be back next week. Where we'll talk about the finals and semi-finals and maybe a few surprises as well. But we'll see what we can put our heads together and see what we can sort out for next weekend. But until then, massive thank you for watching. Please keep subscribing. Please keep watching the shows as well. Plenty of My Life's in Football is coming up as well once the season's finished as well. So from me and Steve, a massive thank you. And keep watching, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week.